Hi, everyone. I think I'm live. Yes, I'm live. Yes, there's already people here. I'm so happy. Hi, John. Yes, we're starting a new adventure in the old city, and I'm so happy about it. Hi, Joshmo. I'm so happy to see you here. And Francis from Portugal. Oh, that's cool. I'm so happy. Guys, welcome to my old city apartment. I don't know if I can give you guys a full tour. But hi, Tara, and hi, Dawn. So happy to see you guys. Hi, Ben. Yay, people are showing up. Hi, Princess. Guys, I'm so tired. I'm so out of it. I'm feeling a bit groggy-ish, like a bit under the weather. Hi, Mark. So happy that you're here. Hi, Alex. Yay, everyone's appearing. I'm here with tea. Guys, this tea is a bit funny. I bought this tea from like a little supermarket here in the old city, and looks like this. And it's ginger with honey and cinnamon, but I didn't realize that it's instant. Okay, so it oopsies, just put out a story for live on Instagram, but it's instant. And I sort of like shook it. I'm like, why does it sound weird? I'll show you guys a picture of how it actually looks like because I sent it to a friend. I was like, definitely did not buy the right thing. I was like, this is not the right thing. It looks like this. Oopsies. Can you guys see that? It looks like instant yeast or something, right? So I don't know. I bought it. I'm not entirely sure what to think, but the ingredients literally just says, this is a bit boring, this information, but I'm just telling you guys what I'm drinking. It's just very funny. It says ingredients: ginger, glucose, honey, sugar, cinnamon. Either way, yeah, I'm slightly not like feeling well. So what I'm doing, actually, thank you for saying that because I need to take something that my friend gave me. She's amazing. She's giving me these health pills that are like all natural things that I have to take like every 3 hours or something. And it's all natural things with like, I don't know what else is in here, but like just good stuff. So let's shake them together. I'm so happy you guys are here. Elderberry supports immune. That could be good. Someone says a fake halal product. I love that. Okay. I'm gonna do this so you guys can see just a little bit more. Maybe I'll take the laptop. I don't know how good the connection is, but basically you can see the sort of curved ceiling, which is very typical for like old builds in the old city and old builds in Jerusalem, that they sort of arch, which is pretty cool. And I am now currently in the Christian quarter, and I feel very safe. I was sort of contemplating, like where would I actually stay? Okay, let's go back a little bit. You guys know Levi, our good friend Levi. For those of you who are still contemplating if Levi and I are together, no, we're not together. He's the sweetest, and he's my best guy friend. And when we collaborated a few months ago, he asked on the vlog a question, which was, would you ever live in the old city? And I was like, God would have to basically tell me to live in the old city. But I think it'll be too spiritually intense. And that question sort of, I didn't think about it at the time, but it sort of lingered in my mind, I guess, a bit. And slowly it started sort of like creeping in, like, what if I did stay in the old city? And then it turned into like, what if I stay in the old city? And then it became, what if I stay in the old city? Like it just sort of progressed to this like to this desire to stay in the old city, and not just like stay in the old city, but like understand what the old city is and what it means and why it is. And I feel like God did something through that question. And I suddenly wanted to be in the old city and discover it and discover what God feels about it and the people in it. And so I find myself praying that God would sort of guide me, because I sort of felt it very strong, like, "Oh, I need to stay in the old city. I need to go and I need to discover and I need to find out what God is feeling, and I need to be available for God to speak to me." And so that's sort of what I'm doing here. So I kept praying that God would open up the right place. And I was looking at different places, but nothing sort of panned out. And what I do with these things when I don't know what to do is I just sort of I put it out there. I talk to people. I say things like, I want to stay in the old city. And then I see what comes back to me. And what eventually came back to me was this place. Maybe I will give you guys a little bit of a tour. I hope the connection isn't lost. Oops, it got dark all of a sudden. Do you guys want a little tour? I'm going to read your comments in just a second. I see a lot of health related stuff. I'm okay. I'll be fine. But this is the entrance door. And let's just say this is the bathroom, which is very narrow. And oopsies, in the back there's a sort of everything that you would expect to have in a bathroom. And so you come in to the entrance, and to your over here next to the door, you have that. And just a very standard sort of place. It's sort of narrow, but the ceilings are high. And so you sort of feel not so cramped. But I will tell you guys in a second sort of the feeling that I have here. And then you walk further in, and you have the bedroom, which I'm going to bring sheets for tomorrow. And it basically looks like this. It's just a really big room, really decent sized room. I already took out all my stuff so that I could feel just sort of proper and unpacked and not feel like I'm still traveling for some reason. And that's the apartment. Very simple and very nice. And I'm very grateful to be here. And just happy that you guys are here and that we can share it together. I'm going to look at your guys' comments for a second. How old is this place? Mark asked. I don't know. I mean, it must be very old. I wish that I knew how to answer more questions like this about the old city. But I just met a woman that's sort of like a neighbor to me, and she says that she's 75 years old and she's been living here for 70 years, and she knows all of the neighbors, right? Because she's been living here for that long. And so the old city, in its various forms, is a very old place, right? I mean, in the past, what Jerusalem actually was just what you see in the old city. And people wouldn't really sort of live outside because it was dangerous. Because, when you think about it, walls were your safety back then. To be in a fortified city would protect you. And so the neighborhood that you see outside of Jerusalem, which is Mishkanot Shananim, and what's it called? Mishkanot Shananim, and the name escapes me. But anyways, there's this really old neighborhood that's outside of the old city. And Yamin Moshe, that's what it is. And basically, at some point, I think there were a lot of the old city was very, very crammed with people, and there were a lot of diseases and maybe trash, like stuff. It wasn't a good situation, and people were determined to sort of try and also live outside, but also living outside was dangerous because you had wild animals, you had thieves and stuff like that. And so I think in the beginning they built some of the neighborhood, and then they would sleep inside the old city. So they would conduct their lives outside during the day, but they would sleep in the old city. Eventually the city expanded to, everything that it is today. But yeah, in the past it would be safer for you to live in a fortified city because, all of the elements. Hmm. I love the fact that everyone's asking how old this house is. I should probably do a bit of research about how old everything here is. Ben says, I once lived in En Karem. Yeah, En Karem is very, very beautiful part of Jerusalem. And there were houses like that too, with rounded ceilings and massively thick walls. They were very, very pleasant in the summer. Yeah, these houses, they can actually keep the cold very well, like the cold in when it's hot, but it could be that they become very cold during the winter. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't lived in a house like this during the winter, but we build out of concrete here and also Jerusalem stone. Robert Stringer says, I'd love to see Jerusalem, the city of Melchizedek, the King of Peace. It's a beautiful city. Someone says, I'm not Jewish. There isn't 1% Judaism in my genes. As an ex-Muslim, I follow this psychological, Kabbalistic interpretation of the Ten Commandments. For me, the Ten Commandments are entirely about our own self. That's an interesting take. Just reading the rest of your comment. Other commandments as psychological guidance: respect for the feminine, masculine spirit within us, respect for our parents, not harming anyone means not letting the hatred and resentment inside us silence love and compassion. And I read all the something. there's no more there. That's an interesting take. I don't know enough about the Kabbalah to know exactly what I agree with and what I don't. I'm not really for like mysticism in that sense. I apply myself to anything supernatural that God shows me in the Bible and in His Word. So any extra biblical things I tend to sort of stay away from, I would say. Let's see. Just reading your comments. Princess says, the architecture is lovely. I really like the arches and stonework. It feels very old and wise and meaningful. Guys, the old city. Okay, I'm going to explain to you guys what I felt walking in the old city today. Okay, so you know how like in just any neighborhood or just the normal part of the city, you have roads and alleyways or streets or whatever, and they're basically sort of structured and more or less straightforward and more or less easy to navigate, and they can be wide. The old city is not like that. It's basically, let's just call it a square-ish. It's not entirely square, but let's just call it a square. And within it, it's like a maze, and everything is like a maze. And the old city, when you walk inside of it, it's like it feels very choppy. So like you'll be walking and then just for a short bit, and then you go because you have to go left, and then you'll go down this winding road with stairs, and it'll go this way and then that way. Like it's not straightforward. There's always like it winds and it turns and it chops to the left and it goes up and then it goes down and then it goes around, and it feels very maze like. And then even when I get to let's just call it my house, there's, by the way, I feel very safe here because there's like a door that leads into like a courtyard, if you will. It's not entirely a courtyard, but it's like a bit that way. And then it sort of mazes to here and to there. And then I have to go down steps, like all the way down this, like it's sort of weird in a sense, and then into this apartment. And then above me are houses, right? And so I feel like I don't know how to explain what that is, but it feels just sort of very windy and choppy and not straightforward and a bit crammed and smushed all together. And Also, everything around you is high, right? Because around you, you're surrounded by a tall wall. And then all around you, everything is built to a height, basically. And so everything around you is towering. And you're just down in this little maze walking. This is little me, and this is the wall. And every single moment it feels like you're just walking around this wall. And so the old city is just a maze of walls. That's how it feels like. And so I actually got got lost just a little tiny bit coming in this way. It's not incredibly hard to get here. Um, it was actually pretty easy, but I tend to get lost. And so I just took this one wrong turn and couldn't really find my way back. But the cool thing is when I was walking with my I'm actually drinking tea. So it's a weird instant tea. I don't know how I bought it without realizing that it's instant, but it is what it is. Uh Either way, I was walking with my really big suitcase. Now, in the old city, as I told you guys, it's windy like this and choppy, and there's a lot of stairs. But the good thing is that they sort of created sort of like ramps that go down, made out of Jerusalem stone or made out of cement, depends. And it makes it easier to go with like how do you call it? Like buggies or strollers or wheelchairs, if you will, or like suitcases and stuff like that, or for people like on an electric scooter or whatever it is. Okay. And so I'm doing that, and sometimes there is none of those little ramps, and so you have to sort of like just take whatever it is and just slug it down the stairs. It's just fine. But at some point, because I got lost, I bumped into this lady, and we were going up the same way, and she's the 75-year-old woman, and poor thing, she was struggling. She didn't have a lot of groceries, but I think she has arthritis, and it's hard. You're carrying groceries, and it's all stairs now. The whole of the old city is just alleyways and stairs and alleyways and stairs and alleyways and stairs. And I felt really bad for her. Um, and so I'm like, let me help you. And she's like, no, no, no. So I'm like, yes, I'll help you. Let me help you at least bring it to your house. So I insisted. I was like, I'm not going to listen to her. I'm just going to do this for her because people feel uncomfortable, right? They don't want necessarily to receive help because they feel bad. So on one hand, I have my luggage, and on the other hand, I'm holding as many groceries of her as I can. And I'm like, Tali, which is basically like, come, like, so I decided not to listen to her, and she just agreed. And so we're walking up, and between my broken Arabic and her Arabic and English, and I can understand the context more or less of like some things. Um, just because it's sort of like there's I think a 40% overlap between Arabic and Hebrew. And so basically she brought me into her house. Maybe I'll show you guys just a bit so that you don't have to wait um for the vlog, which will probably come out in a while. I don't know. I probably don't want to show you guys too much because okay, I'll show you guys inside her house. She was so nice to me. Her name is Terza. And she just basically like brought me inside of her house. She's Christian Arab, yeah. And so she has a lot of like the icons, so like Mary and Jesus, and she's starting to decorate for Christmas. So that's her bed. It's in the living room, if you will. Hilwe is I guess that's like the female way of saying beautiful. Maybe it's Hilu for her house. I don't know. But Teresa brought me in and she gave me lemonade. And this is her kitchen. I'm just giving you guys a tour of Teresa's house. And then over here is her daughter, lives here with her. And this is all books. This is all her like books that she reads. And she's a translator from Arabic to English. Isn't this so cool? She has a deluxe unit, yeah. So basically, we just went into her house and she showed me around and she allowed me to film. And she showed me uh, her daughter. That's her daughter, who is the translator that lives there. And then this is her son. And she was so sweet. And she said, like, every day, like, I pray, like, that God will help me. And she said that she also prayed for, like, oh, I'm so tired. She said that she also like prayed that like God would help her, I guess, like maybe with her groceries and like to get up like the stairs and all the things. I think that's probably what's like difficult about these situations that just looking at something for a second, difficult about these situations that when you're older and you live in a place where it's not really easy to get to. So like, you know, if you're older, you want to like maybe live in a place that doesn't have any stairs and stuff like this. I could see that when we were going up the stairs with each few stairs, she would have to pause and breathe, and then she would go up another, and then she'd pause and breathe, and like her whole way up is just that. And imagine doing that with arthritis, carrying things. You're 75 years old, you feel weak. I felt so bad for her, and she was so sweet to me. She was so nice. And so she said, like, come and visit me again. And so maybe we'll go together and we'll visit her again. And I mean, she knows all of the neighbors, right? Like she knows everyone. So it's very cool to meet someone who actually lives here. And so I'm praying that God will guide me to the right places and the right people. I don't know that I have an agenda for being here in the sense of I just want God to speak to me because I feel like he led me here so that I can learn about him and about how he loves the people in the city. And yeah, I feel like it's really important. I'll tell you guys what I felt today, which was so weird. Guys, okay, so my mom is a Sabra, which a Sabra is basically the what we call a native born Jewish Israeli, okay? And so the Sabra is the fruit that grows on a cactus. Why we call ourselves Sabras? It's because on the outside this fruit is prickly, but on the inside it's soft and sweet. And so that's why we call ourselves Sabras. Okay, that's the background. My mom is a Sabra, so a Jewish Israeli native born. My dad is American. And I made Aliyah because I'm technically not, I'm coming back to Israel, not like my mom. My mom always grew up here. I made Aliyah, which means to ascend, to immigrate, when I was like 8.5. Okay. And we moved to a city next to Jerusalem. And I've lived here in this environment my whole life. And I've also lived in Jerusalem in different apartments in my adult life. Okay. This is my environment. I was never like a huge fan of the old city because of what I described now, that it's all just like really crammed and, you know, all the feelings and hot and just full of people and you're fighting your way to get from place to place and, you know, and crowded times and all this stuff. And it's not like the most pleasant of feelings. Um, I guess when you're a person who like history is your thing and you remember all the things, you're like, wow, all the history, then you love it even more because you remember and have a depth of understanding of what you're looking at. Like, I don't know, like people like Levy, okay? Levy is a tour guide. He knows history. He knows what the stones mean and what happened where. And I don't know these things. But when I go with people who are like that, I understand these places and I'm like, wow, this place is so cool. I didn't know that this was all the history. And really, the old city is layers because there's the old city of the top and then there's the old city of under, which basically because things are like they're Suzanne, hi. I'm so happy. I love you. Guys, Suzanne Brindis is my aunt basically, but not by blood, but by choice. And she knows me since before I was born, technically. So I'm so happy, Suzanne. Suzanne, come to Israel. I don't know when I'm going to be in Florida again, but I miss you and I miss Donna. So I hope that I can see you soon. But and just talking about being in the old city, Suzanne, because I'm staying here for 2 weeks. because I feel like God has led me to stay here because he wants to speak to me. So what I'm saying is, like, I packed my things and I came here, and it was the weirdest feeling because I felt a bit like a tourist. I have been here a million times, and yet I felt like a tourist because and people were treating me like a tourist because I don't know, I was dressed in like the clothes that I bought here, but I look sort of, I don't know, like a tourist. And I don't, people just assume I'm not from here. And I'm also walking with my little like mini handheld thing, talking in English to a camera. And so people assume that I'm not from here, right? And so I felt like I was being looked at a bit like that. But I also felt a bit like that. It's almost like I was visiting a city I've never been in, or visited a place I've never been in, and I've been here a million times. I've been in the old city a million times. Why would I feel this way? And so it was this, I guess, I don't know, maybe God gave me this feeling so that I would feel the excitement of something new, like as if I'm seeing something for the first time or experiencing it for the first time. Um, a funny feeling. And I carried this feeling for like a while. Very, very strange. So yeah, I don't know what God has in store for these next few days. Tomorrow, I'm actually barely going to be here because I'm hosting at my parents' house, two friends. Well, you guys know two of them, but both of them from different vlogs. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I technically won't be here a lot tomorrow. I'm going to leave sort of early to do that. But I am really looking forward to seeing what God wants to do and what He wants to speak. And I feel like, I don't know, I think I used to feel like before coming here, sort of apprehensive, like, what is God going to say? Because I'm thinking about Yeshua. I'm thinking about when he would come here, or when he would pray on the Mount of Olives and he would look at Jerusalem, he would be sad sometimes. Yeshua would be sad, and he would feel their rejection of him. And I don't entirely know what God wants to focus on as far as what he wants me to know about the people in this city, because it's not just the physical place, right? Like it's just stones, really. Like, yes, they're meaningful and our history is here and it's living proof of our history, but what's more important is the people that are inside of these walls, right? Now, for those of you guys that don't know, the old city of Jerusalem is it consists of four quarters. So you have the Muslim quarter, the Jewish quarter, the Armenian quarter, the Christian quarter. I'm staying in the Christian quarter. I think for the most part it's Orthodox Christians, and like they're Arabs. So could be a combination of other things of other like ethnicities that I don't know of. I have to sort of read up on all of the old city stuff. I'm very irresponsible. I came here without a lot of research, but I'm going to discover things as I go. And what was interesting is going to the like little mini supermarket here in the Christian Quarter and seeing products that you won't see in a Jewish supermarket. So like things that say made in Palestine or Palestinian something something. Um, it's one of those things that it reminds you of this great divide within my homeland. And it's a funny feeling because even within Christians, like Christian Arabs, there's a lot of replacement theology. So for those of you guys that don't know what replacement theology is, basically in the Bible, God has a covenant with his people, aka me, let's just say, and that they believe, the church, let's just say, that covenant is over, that it's done with, that God has rejected the Jewish people, that they're no longer in a covenant with God, and this land belongs to everyone. Now, in my mind, according to what I see in the Bible, this land, first of all, belongs to God. And Yeshua, as the Messiah, is coming back to this city, to the Mount of Olives, which is just over there. And I don't believe that God is done with us as the Jewish people. I don't believe that his covenant that is eternal somehow stops being just because of disobedience. If that were the case, then also the Gentiles would not be in any type of covenant. And so I don't see it that way. What I do see is that Jerusalem is uh, the home, the apple of God's eye, the place in which he chooses to dwell, in which all nations are invited to, and where he wants his people to praise and worship him and make him king forever, according to Zechariah 14. And so I feel like when you take away the element of the importance of the Jewish people welcoming back the Messiah as the covenant people, okay, doesn't mean that the Gentiles don't have a covenant with him. It just means that uh, we are his covenant people in the sense that he chose us for this homeland, to basically welcome him back. Why? God knows why. We're not the greatest of the greatest. I think we're basically very stubborn people, but very wonderful people and very warm. And we have our faults, just like every other nation, right? So it's not because we're special; it's because God within us is special, and God dwells within anyone who wants to be uh, made His home. Um, and so there's a lot of replacement theology in uh, within the Christian Arab community. And that's something that I'm very divided upon within my own heart, not because I don't know what I believe, but because it hurts me. And I think it also hurts God because it's a rejection really of him, not of me. You know what I mean? Like I don't care what other people think in this sense, but when the moment you erase the Jewishness of Yeshua as the Messiah, you lose the whole purpose of him. And I think some of it is also very much rooted in anti-Semitism, and a lot of it is just rooted in pain, for different reasons. And so it's funny going into a supermarket in the Christian Quarter and seeing stuff like that. That doesn't mean that I don't think that the people that call themselves Palestinians don't deserve to feel at home in a land. I just don't believe that it was quote unquote their land. It was always conquered by different conquerors, occupiers, if you will. Um, and so I just believe that all Gentiles, all nations, um, will come up to Jerusalem and praise the God of Israel, which is also their God. So that's how I look at it. Martina, you gave. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Martina. I'm so happy about that. Martina says, Hi, Uriel. When I visited the old city at the first time, I was totally overwhelmed but felt at home at the same time. That's so cool. I love that. I absolutely love that. Guys, I've been talking for a while, and I see that you guys are writing a lot of things. I see that there's a type of debate here on mysticism and talking about different stuff like that. Also, guys, just a little bit of an update. Because I haven't put out a lot of vlogs recently, which is just because I'm tired, I guess. Creating content is not always easy. Not wanting to complain, but it's just because I create content for a living for my clients, then sometimes my own YouTube channel comes last in a sense because that happens. But the money that I do make off of it goes to two things. It goes to soldiers with PTSD, and it goes to a organization called Hador Haba, sorry, which is basically facilitating relationships between Messianic Jews and Arab Christians, mainly like young people, like youth or young adults, and also kids. And so recently, I have like the privilege. I'm hoping that this will happen. That a soldier basically asked for help to cover therapy sessions, which in my mind is like the greatest and the best, because before that, everything that you guys gave, it would go to Iran's Angels, which they allocate that money to helping soldiers with PTSD, but I don't technically know where it goes to. Like, I don't know what they actually do with it in a sense. I just know that that's what they do. And I would so much rather pinpoint and actually give to a specific soldier that, you know, even if they don't have PTSD, let's just say, or it's undiagnosed PTSD, they've gone through a lot, being combat soldiers and seeing things, and the amount of days that they've been in reserves, and the back and forth that's really like, it's like whiplash. They go to the army, then suddenly, boom, they have to be a civilian and again, and they have to go back to work again. And like, it's just very cumbersome for them and very, very difficult. And so I'm very happy to say that the income, or 50% of the income for the last 2.5 or 3 months, whatever it's been, it will go to this particular soldier that is needing, help to cover therapy. And so I'm so beyond elated. I'm just like, yes, absolutely. So I just wanted to say thank you to you guys. Because you guys make this happen. So if we can help even just one soldier, I think that that's very blessed of a thing to do. Okay, I'm going to look at your comments, and I might end in a bit just because I really need to sleep. I need to sleep and sort of take care of my health. John is asking, Buttercup like his new home? Well, I'll tell you what, I left Bunny at home because it's too much for him to come here for just 2 weeks and just like be in a random apartment alone, because I'm not going to be here a lot, and I don't want to remove him from his environment. And frankly, I'd be scared that if he somehow escaped, he'd get lost. I don't want him to get lost in the old city. That is not an environment for a new cat in that sense. There's a lot of cats here in the old city, but they know their way around, and they're being taken care of and fed. And I just don't want to do that to Bunny. And also, Bunny does not like being closed in places for too long. He has to go outside, or else he becomes miserable, and he cries, and he just like meows and cries, and it's not good for him. So Bunny is at home where he just enjoys things. Actually, guys, if you don't follow Bunny on Instagram, I think that you should. I'm going to link Bunny's Instagram. Also, guys, I'm not happy with the fact that there are some of my friends that don't follow Bunny, like my actual friends, that they're like, I like you, but I'm not going to follow your cat. Like, why are you not going to follow my cat? He's a part of me. So I'm not happy about that. I'm a bit salty about it. But I'm pinning Bunny's Instagram so you guys can enjoy the Bunny content because he's so cute. Yes, I'm only here temporarily. I'll be here for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to go back home. Oh. Sorry, guys. I'm going to answer like 2 questions, and then I think I'm going to end the live. Joe is asking, aren't there a few congregations, churches in Israel that are a healthy mix between Arab, ex-Muslim Christians, and Messianic Jews? I don't know of a place that's like an extreme mix of like, I don't know, 50%. Within different congregations or churches, you'll have like slight mixes. So I think that's sort of it, but I honestly don't know enough to answer that question, truthfully. Princess asks, what are some good organizations to give to for causes such as the soldiers and any other great causes? I'm going to link for you guys my Buy Me a Coffee. And I'm not saying that I'm not linking this so that you guys can give to me. I would rather you guys actually give to these causes. Let me just get the link for you guys and put it down below. So if you donate here and you give a super thanks here, YouTube takes 30%, which is not a nice feeling. And so that's not a nice feeling. I don't like that YouTube does that, especially when we're trying to give to like a cause, right? And so what you can do is either you can donate directly to Iran's Angels, Iran's Angels, which they give to soldiers with PTSD. You just sort of have to find like the right sort of like link for it. So I'm going to put that here as well. That's Iran's Angels. You can directly go there. If you want to go to the Buy Me a Coffee link, which I'm going to pin instead of bunnies. Oopsies. Where does that lead us to? Okay, if you go to the Buy Me a Coffee link and you specify there that you want to donate either to soldiers with PTSD or to the Jewish Arab relations, then it will go directly to that. Whatever isn't to that, and you're like, no, yet I want to support you specifically so that I don't know, you can eat another meal while you're on your way to create content because that helps me, right? You can do that. I would 100% rather you guys donate to those two causes. So if you want to donate to me, that's kind of you, and I thank you for that, but don't feel obligated. Literally, you can go to that or go to Iran's Angels and just donate there directly. Whatever you guys give for the next, whatever will go directly to this particular soldier to cover his therapy. So that's that. Someone is asking about Kayla. Is your colleague Kayla Sprague a Messianic Jew or a Christian? She's a Christian. I'm not aware of her being a Jew, but she's working here. She works at Firm. You can see her if you follow her, if you follow Firm, and you can also see her on All Israel News. She's I think in the States right now. I don't think. I know she's in the States. So I covered like she does prayer points like I think every week or every 2 weeks or something like that. And so I will do I just did that video instead of her. So sometimes we sort of cover for each other in different ways if someone is away. Guys, I'm not feeling the best. I really need to sleep. Usually I would stay and talk to you guys more, but I think that if I want to sort of feel better, I need to sleep. Just reading some of your comments. Thank you guys for being so kind, so sweet. I know that this is one of the more shorter lives that we've done. But I just want to thank you guys for being a part. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, feel free to do so because I update. I don't know if to say frequently, but I try to update. How do I actually get my link? This is funny. There we go. I try to put out stories and reels about the stuff that I experience, and I put stories all the time so you guys can just follow me on my old city adventures. So feel free to follow me there. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what God is going to do. And I'm going to say goodnight to you guys. And I'm going to pray for all of us before. God, thank you for all of my subscribers. Thank you that they're wonderful and the most loving and supporting people. And you know each of them individually and what they need and who they are. And I'm asking God that you would show them your kindness and your loving mercy, that you are a forgiving, thoughtful God, that you're a thoughtful God. I thank you that you have blessings for them that they don't even know about. And so I'm asking that you would surprise them with all of those things. And God, also just bless my time in the old city. Give me fullness of health and really, really good sleep. And that I would just be available, God, that I'll be available to whatever you want to do and teach me while I'm here. God, do whatever you want. I'm here for it. Okay, guys, I love you. Thank you for all the good nights and all the sleep tights. And you guys are so sweet. I love you so freaking much. You guys are the best. You guys are the absolute bestest. Okay, if I don't go now, I never will. But I love you guys. Thanks for showing up. You guys make me the happiest. I still carry a little bit of an insecurity that I'm just like, is anyone even going to show up? And you always do. You always do. Thanks for praying for me. You guys are wonderful. And good night from me in a very quiet, almost midnight Christian quarter in the Old City. I love you guys. Good night. Mwah.